Good morning, everyone. So, how are you all? So, welcome to Bangalore. So, all of you come with a very big dream. Huh? What is that big dream? Crack IAS or become IAS. To become IAS officer and to crack the UPSC examination. So, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮೈಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ಅಲ್ವ ಇರೋದು IAS, IPS, IRS. So I don't think anybody would like to become IRS or audit and account service. Eldrigo IAS, IPS, maybe some of you may be foreign service and forest service also. Anyone targeting forest service? No. Foreign, Indian foreign service? Foreign service, very good. So next 1 hour I'm going to discuss about how to crack this examination, and so basically this is orientation session. So what do we mean by orientation? The meaning of orientation is that because you have newly arrived in Bangalore and also this is something new that you are going to do. So even though you might have prepared which school, what kind of academic excellence or academic background you come from. So that was a different orientation because, and also that orientation is more or less similar to everyone, the college life. Whether you have done BE, MBBS, law, BA, BCom, BSc, BCA, agriculture, whatever it is, the academic orientation was to secure highest marks in each semester examination and to earn a degree with highest percentage possible. So in academics, and some of you might have done little extra, that participating in extracurricular activities, right? And some of you might have done some internship, going here and there. Some of you might have done projects, assignments. So that was all in different combinations, similar. But now onwards, so what you are going to do is totally individualistic, right? Though it looks same for everyone. It looks same that everyone is going to read Lakshmikant, everyone is going to read NCRTs, everyone is going to read geography, whatever textbooks are there. But the success actually depends how originally, how in an individualistic way, right? You develop your capabilities. The word developing capabilities and building confidence, right? Not bringing confidence, it's building confidence. And how you deeply understand the depth of this examination, right? How you deeply understand, how clearly you understand, how well you understand the depth of this examination. So the depth of this examination, what do I mean by is that most of you do not have a fair idea about the nature of the competition, right? What it takes from you to crack this examination. So based on your research, in YouTube and the websites and Telegram channel here and there and Twitter, you might have found certain details, right? So you have to read this, read that. You have to make notes this way, that way. You have to read newspaper this way, that way. And current affairs is important, NCRT is important. That is all good. So if you have done that kind of research and if you have been, if you have gone through the syllabus, and some of you, if you have checked previous UPSC questions, so that means you have certain amount of curiosity, right, to know more about this examination so that accordingly you can prepare yourself, right? So ultimately the success depends on how well you understand the journey you are about to embark, about to start, right? The goal that you have set for yourself, the dream that you are dreaming about. So what it takes to achieve that, proportionately, what are the qualities that I should develop simultaneously as you move towards into the future, towards your goal. So now it is all what? Imagination, right? Right now, what is this? This is just imagination. You keep imagining, right? Some of you may be imagining giving interview to NDTV or TV9, and they coming, leaving darshan out and coming to your home to interview, right? And then all those cars and bungalows, and some of you may be dreaming about doing good work also, right? Building homes to poor people, hospitals, and doing great things. So all these visualizations will happen. That is very normal. So that is part of the daydreaming, and if you have taken too seriously, so it will wake you up in the night also. So that will happen in the course of the future. That will happen. So you will wake up in the middle of the night because the dreams, sometimes scary dreams, sometimes unexpected ones. So this will all happen, right? But knowing the examination is extremely important. And from today onwards, it is a mission, we can say 700 days, or we can say 1000 days, right? This is something about what you are going to do is mission, minimum 700 days, maximum 1000 days. It should be that much. So 2 to 3 years, 700 days to 1000 days. So some of you may be wondering, like, I want to achieve this in 365 days, right? So of course, in my opinion, it is too late to, not too late, it all depends on you actually. So to crack the examination in 2025, but my honest, sincere suggestion is that you should target 2026 examination, right? Because I will tell like what are the things that you have to complete. Once you understand that, then you will realize that it actually takes large number of days, to complete, to master, right? You have to master, you have to understand, you have to go to the depths of each and every concept that is part of the syllabus, and you should be in a position to apply them, use those concepts on a regular basis, right? And not only apply those concepts, interlink those concepts, right? Bring many concepts together and create your own ideas, right? In essay paper, in ethics paper, you will realize that. So to achieve that level, it takes many days. So in your mind, think that, and in a way imprint this idea that it's a mission 700 to 1000 days. So maximum 1000 days. After 1000 days, you should become officer, whichever you are dreaming about. So if that doesn't happen, right? So my suggestion, go for higher education or go for a job and then continue. But till next 700 days, give everything you have, towards cracking this examination. So you can save precious years of your life, right? So beyond 2 years, it becomes burdensome for everyone, strains you mentally, right? It's very stressful, and presently being unemployed and not having, required degrees, so it's very dangerous, right? So there is a way forward for you, and you are in the right institution to crack this examination. So firstly, what you have to do in the next few days to 700 days. One thing, I don't know how many of you have done your basic research. Can you tell me about the cutoff last year in prelims paper 1, and what is the marks that you need to score in CSAT paper? What was the cutoff in mains, right, for general OBC SC/ST category in mains? So the mains is conducted for 1750 marks. So out of 1750, how much you had to score to be eligible to give interview, and how much is the interview marks, and what was the highest marks in interview? Can anyone answer? Tell me first. Last year prelims, what was the cutoff? No, wrong. 75.4 was the cutoff. General category 75.4. That was in general studies paper 1. So I assume that all of you know about the pattern of the examination, right? The scheme of the examination. So the general studies paper 1 will have 100 questions for 200 marks. So out of 200 marks, if you are in general category, if you had scored 75.4 plus, and if you had secured how many minimum marks in CSAT paper? 66.6, 66.6 plus, right? So if you had cleared CSAT paper, and then if you had secured 75.4 in paper 1, you would have written mains that just, last year, for which we have got the result, and all of them are in the training in Labasna right now, right? So then you would write the mains. There are 9 papers in mains examination, 2 compulsory English and compulsory language papers. The language could be anything. Even if you are a Kannadiga, you can go with Sanskrit, Hindi, if you haven't studied Kannada in your school, because there are Kannadigas who cannot read and write Kannada. So you can go with Hindi, English. So just to clear the confusion. So there is no rigid rule that you have to take only Kannada, right? So you can take any languages. So in these 2 papers, in compulsory English and compulsory Kannada, what is the minimum marks that you have to score? 75 plus. If you score 75 plus out of 300, these 2 papers are out of 300, not 250 marks. So out of 300, if you score 75 plus in these 2 papers, your other papers will be evaluated. If you fail in these 2 papers, your other 7 papers will not be evaluated in the mains examination. So these 2 papers intend to test your language proficiency, right? They intend to test your ability to comprehend, either in English or either in the language that you choose from, right? So whatever language that you are going to choose. So the comprehension, right? So do you have basic knowledge about your language, basic grammar. English, administrative language is very important. So that is common for everyone. Even though you might have studied in purely Kannada medium, Telugu medium, Tamil. So you have to compulsorily learn enough, sufficient English to score 75 plus marks in this paper in mains. So in these 7 papers, so now it is for 1750. So there are how many papers? No, 9 minus 2, remaining 7. So out of 7 papers, there are 5 papers which are called as general studies papers, including the essay paper. Other 2 papers are one optional subject. So optional for 500 marks, 250 paper 1, 250 paper 2. And other 5 papers, essay paper 250, 4 general studies papers for 250 each. So out of 1750, right, if you want a rank in UPSC, right, you have to score how much? Let us say that you want to become all India rank 1. So some of you might have dreamed about it, right? So what if I get all India rank 1 and nobody remembers rank 2, rank 3, rank 4. Nobody. If I ask the question, only if they are very popular on social media, right? If they are active, guiding students, then you will know them. Otherwise, nobody knows rank 2, rank 3, rank 4. Rank 1, that too, like if you are following that, you will know. So to be rank 1, you have to score 899 was the highest marks in mains last year, 899. Before that, I think it was 902. Before that, it was around 910 or 914. So before that, it was around 927. So it used to be in the 920s, 930s. It is gradually coming down to below 900. So out of 1750, 899 plus in interview, if you score 190 plus or 200 plus, top 5 rank is guaranteed. You got it? So in mains, if you score somewhere between 850 to 900, and if you score 190 plus in interview, your top 30 to top 40 all India rank is guaranteed. So mains marks plus interview marks, if it is around 1000 or 1000 to 1040, you are in top 100. So let us say that you score 800 in mains and 200 in interview. right? 800 plus interview, 1000. So if you score 1000 marks, so you are in top 100. So IAS, IPS or Indian Foreign Service, these three are guaranteed. So all of you who are sitting and right now you are nothing, zero, blank, you are about to start this journey, right? So eventually you have to reach a position, a place, right, where you have to start scoring these marks. These marks are real. The marks which I have just discussed, that is the reality. It's a fact. It's not imagination, right? But you have to achieve that. Eventually, from today to whether it is 700 days, 1000 days or 1300 days, it is a 1 year cycle. I have to add, 365 days, 300 plus days. So eventually you have to achieve those marks to justify, whatever decision you have taken, whatever sacrifices that you have made or you are about to make in coming days and years. So you have to eventually reach those marks, right? So in the interview, there are cases where extreme cases they have given 80 also, the lowest. Extremely rare, right? But usually if they want to eliminate 120, 130, 140, below 150, they keep giving. Every year these marks we see in the interview. Highest score has been 215. Out of 275, 215 is the highest marks in the interview. So when you clear prelims, when you clear mains, when you go to UPSC, when you sit in front of 5, the most experienced people, the panel, so you should be in a position to score 200, 201, 204, 206, 209, 211, 215 or even 193, 198, right? So if you score that much marks and plus 800 around marks, so guaranteed. In various categories, the IAS, IPS is guaranteed. So the reason you would have guessed, realized why I am talking about these numbers, right? Everything you are going to do about, not only sitting in the class learning, outside the class, right? What you are going to do, the kind of personality that you want to develop from now onwards, right? The kind of individual you want to become, right? Everything is in this direction, but that doesn't stop at there, right? Cracking this examination is not the true success. Becoming IAS, IPS or foreign service or IRS is not the end of it. Whatever you are going to do for next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it is going to be part of you permanently. It is going to transform you. So you have to see entire, journey from this perspective, right? So then only the examinations will just happen. The success will just happen. You're getting this point, right? Towards your bigger journey in your life, to become a better individual, most capable individual, somebody who can take decisions quickly, somebody who is very objective, whose knowledge can enable you to solve complex issues, take decisions regarding complex problems. You have to reach that position eventually. So that is going to help you in life, right? Irrespective of whether you are going to crack or not. But if the priorities are right, if the preparation is focused, so single-minded focus on the preparation plus same single-minded focus on transformation of your personality, if they go together without any major hurdles, so small hurdles, small hiccups, they will always be there, right? How quickly you overcome them, how quickly you just bounce back. So that decides the entire success. So how quickly you bounce back and move toward, in this journey. So that totally decides your success, and without stress, without much stress, depression, anxiety, other problems. So this journey will be smooth and you will enjoy the journey, and naturally you will go on cracking. Ideally, this is how it should be there, the broader picture. Now coming to the mains, which I was talking about. In optional subject, earlier they used to give 350, 360, very rare cases even 365 something also. So now majority optional marks, maybe electrical engineering, maths, one or two subjects here and there. Most of the subjects, the highest marks you can score is somewhere around 300 to 310 in optional. Right? So out of 500, the maximum marks you can dream about scoring is somewhere around 310. 310. So that leaves you how many marks? From 5 papers, 500 to 550 marks you need to score. Right? To become what? The topper, IAS, IPS. So everybody has this idea that they have to score 300 plus in optional, and they invest so much of resources, so much of time in trying to secure 300 plus in optional subject. So it starts with making the decision which optional you want to take. Right? So you have come from various background, agriculture, horticulture, forestry, BSc in various combinations, BA various combinations, BCA, BE. So in BE, like electrical, mechanical, civil, computer science, and backgrounds I'm talking about, but we have only 3 engineering subjects: electrical, mechanical, civil, and then medical science, BNYS, BAMS. So you come from various background, irrespective of from which background you come from. Right? 80% of the people choose humanities subjects in this examination. Right? 86% of the engineers choose humanities subjects, majorly political science, sociology, anthropology, and literature, and public administration and geography. So these 6 subjects are the most popular optional subjects across the spectrum. Right? So right now I was talking about, like English literature major, and they wanted to choose English literature. So I discourage English literature because in 2 to 3 years you see 1 or 2 individuals cracking this examination with success rate is very low, and the expectation is very high when it comes to subjects like English literature, philosophy, psychology, right? To some extent public administration, right? So never go with philosophy, never go with English literature, psychology, try to stay away, and management subject and economics, right? So these are kind of low performing. See, there is no high performing, low performing. The basic fact here is that whichever optional you are going to choose, you have to be literally master in that subject, right? You have to be exceptional in that subject. You should have something, innate skills, aptitude for that subject. You should be very good when it comes to writing, and when it comes to being specialized in the subject and showing that specialization in your answers. Right? So economics you can choose, but economics, there was one topper, he got all India rank 1. He was from IIM. He had done management course, but his name is Agarwal. He has written books on, I forgot. So he chose economics. So that year, this was like, I think 9-10 years ago, I think. So he scored really well. So he came from management, he chose economics. There are people like that, but it's very rare. So only if you are extremely good in comparison with the best universities, the best minds in India. Right? So don't compare yourself with your own academic performance from your own university, from your own college, from your own professor's level. Right? It needs to be compared with the best minds in India. Right? So then only you should go with them. Secondly, you should go with those optionals only if you don't have to spend more time on them. So let us assume that you are a law graduate and 5 years you have done exceptionally well in the law. So then you can go with law optional because it is going to require minimum effort. Right? So if that is the case, if you have already mastered your optional during graduation, then go with, because you have to spend little time on them. Majority of you, literally 99% of you, come with very low or zero general studies knowledge. Right? All of you sitting here, you may be a gold medalist in your BSc, MSc, BA, MA, wherever, right? You are extremely good with academics so far. But your school days, your PU days, plus 11, plus 1, plus 2, and college days either didn't allow you to pursue a keen interest in general knowledge, general studies, starting with reading seriously any one, Kannada and one English newspaper, especially English newspaper. Either college life didn't allow, or you didn't have this idea about exam, or you are not interested in this general knowledge, you are not curious in general knowledge, you didn't do these things. Am I right? Tell me how many of you are sitting here have consistently read the Hindu or Deccan Herald or Times of India newspaper at least minimum for 2 years. Anyone? Every day, half an hour to 1 hour. Not a single soul, right? That is the truth. That is fact. So, what is the significance of this point? Is that you are at zero level when it comes to your understanding of issues related to nation, issues related to the world, even issues related to the state. You have to start afresh. You have to start from scratch. It is not just knowing about what is happening in American election, right? It is not just knowing about what is happening between Israel, Palestine, and Iran, right? What is happening between Ukraine, Russia, right? And North Korea has come into the picture, and between China and India. You also need to know the history behind them, right? History of those countries, history of the world, right? The political concepts behind them, right? The economic concepts behind them, the geography behind them, the culture, right? So, and the society part, in the Indian society part, if you want to understand the news that comes in the newspaper. So, if you want to understand, means understanding is different than knowing. Merely reading, knowing, we easily forget, right? Understanding is what is required. To understand, you need to learn literally thousands of new concepts, right? So, for which you are unprepared so far, right? So, now tell me, do you want to give more time to optional, or do you want to give more time to this, which is for 1250 marks? Where do you want to give more time? And add to that, almost everyone come here without any prior writing practice, right? Maybe 1 or 2 might be having blogging, hobby, diary writing, journaling, but most of you come here without any kind of writing hobby or writing practice. You have never written anything around 1000 words so far, right? You would have sat somewhere and written 1000 words on Indian democracy, right? Something related to Indian culture or climate change or abstract topics like happiness, knowledge. You haven't written anything, right? So you have to reach a position where you have to start writing 1000 to 1200 words in essay, 150 to 250 word answers in 4 GS papers, right? Nearly 300 to 350 words in case studies. So, optional is extremely important, but choose very wisely, because all you need is 250 to 300 marks in optional, right? Don't target 300 plus and ruin entire GS preparation, right? This is one good advice that I would like to give, because I see people all the time worrying about optional, right? Take one optional that takes 5 to 6 months effort to score 250 to 270, right? So just note down, I'll give you some marks, right? Just calculate the sum of all the marks. Let us say optional marks, you have to score around 260. For those who are little ambitious, you can write 270 also. 260 optional. Anyone knows what is the highest marks in essay paper? Last 2 years. So there was a time they used to give nearly 175 to 180 out of 250 in essay paper. So now it has come down to around 150. So don't write 150, write 130 to 135. You can write 130. To score 150, it requires extraordinary effort. So let us put 130, right? Essay paper. Something realistic I am giving. Do you know what is the highest marks in general studies paper 1 in mains? Out of 250. So essay one can score, so many people have scored 125 to 130. So I am putting you in that bracket. What about general studies paper 1? It is somewhere around 95 to 100. That is also very difficult. Your 95 is very difficult in paper 1. Write 95. You will see most of the toppers 85, 90, 95. Right. Paper 2, many have scored 110, 115, 120. So paper 2 is about what? Indian polity, governance, social justice, international relations. Right. So you can put GS2. You can put 110 or even 115 if you want. Again, paper 3, which is about economy, agriculture, right, environment, science and technology, disaster management, security issues. So they are also extremely difficult to score, 100 plus. There also can put 90 marks. Right. And ethics, there are instances, even now people are scoring 140, 135. You can put 120 to 125, maybe 125. Ethics paper. So now what is the total? Hmm? 815, 820, but depending on where you have put like 5 extra or 5. So it is coming around 810, 815 or 820, right? So if you score 180 in interview, plus 180, plus 190 or plus 200 plus in the interview, you are IAS, IPS or Indian Foreign Service. You got it? So now if you want to make 300 in optional, right? And if you want to make 140 in essay, right? So there 30 marks extra, 40 marks extra, right? Essay another 20 marks extra, 50 marks, right? Paper 2 another 10, 60 marks. In ethics, if you want another 15, 75 marks, right? Paper 1 and 3, 5 10 extra marks, or in interview 215. So you are going to be in top 5. So my suggestion, dream big, rank 1, rank 2. Nobody is going to stop you. It depends on all of your sincere efforts. You may be giving 10 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours. But if you know these numbers really very well, right? So if you set priorities right, that if you start practicing essay from the very beginning, irrespective of whether you know something about the topic or not, trying is must. Trying is important. The one who tries now and writes very poor essay, ridiculous essay, right? In next 3-4 weeks or 3-4 months, after let us say 5 to 6 months, that individual would have improved essay to the extent of scoring at least 100 to 110 marks. The one who starts now, without knowing how to write, without knowing what to write, you just write whatever comes to your mind based on your rudimentary understanding of the subject, topic. See, if there is topic on democracy, you can write 400, 500 words, right? Just imagine elections, imagine politicians, imagine the parliament, imagine assembly, constitution, imagine judiciary, imagine election commission, right? Imagine all the Panchayat Raj institutions. You can write, right? Write whatever comes to your mind. The one who thinks that I lack any kind of writing skill, writing motivation, I don't know what to write, my English is poor, my knowledge is poor. The one who keeps thinking like this doesn't take any action. So after 6 months, you are still at zero level. You are at zero level. The one who has tried with pitfalls, failures, somebody might have humiliated him also. What you have written is nonsense. You are unfit to become a IAS. But he or she keeps trying, despite somebody insulting, despite somebody criticizing, giving negative feedback. That individual, after 5-6 months, is in a far better position than this individual who is seeking perfection, who is seeking first to fill all the gaps, right? Gain the knowledge and then start writing. So if you fall in the second category, you are not going to crack this examination, irrespective of how much you read, how many years you are spending, how much money you are going to waste. There is absolutely zero chance that you are not going to crack this examination. Is this clear? If at all you have come from Bidar, Gulbarga, Belgaum to Chamarajnagar, sitting in this classroom with a big dream, if you are not going to act, right, and if you are going to wait for someone to spoon feed you, someone to tell you how to do, right, and then only if you want to start, then you are not in the race, you are not in the competition at all. That is again one of the truths. But if you are somebody smart, intelligent, ambitious, based on whatever small information you are gathering, small knowledge, whatever you are being exposed to, start getting the courage and start attempting. You start attempting, you write an answer. Let us say tomorrow we are starting with Indian polity class, just assume that. So in the very first class, they might teach the scheme of the syllabus, right? They might tell you what are the previous year questions and the very basic concepts, the little background about the subject. So you go back, you pick up the previous year question papers, right? And you just try to take any one question and try to attempt. If you attempt writing one answer, then the money you have paid, the decision you have taken is justified. But if you think that I don't want to do this, right? Let us wait for another few classes. Let teacher come and tell me how to write an answer. And then I will start. Then you are not going to crack this examination. You are not going to crack at all. I am somebody who has guided maximum number of students in this field towards success. And when it comes to interview, I take highest number of one-on-one mock interviews in India. Right. I have seen the students from every kind of background. Right. What ultimately matters is not giving up attitude coupled with constant craving, desire for improvement. Right. Ability to take an initiative. Right. Being proactive. Being proactive means one step ahead of the crowd, ahead of the competition, like you have taken decision and you are moving ahead. So those who have these qualities, so they are the ones who are going to crack. So for some people it has come from their colleges, institutions where they have come from, because you have participated in so many events and you have developed those skills. And unfortunately, because of our socio-economic inequalities and poor education system, most of you are not that type. You are not privileged to get that kind of exposure, but here we are exposing you to the truth, right? We are telling you what to do. And the institution is open, the mentors will be there, I will be there. You can come and talk to us. You start taking the initiative, right? So then only the real progress will happen. Otherwise, attending class, noting down the syllabus, whatever subject they are teaching, going back, trying to read, stopping at just taking notes and reading is not going to take you anywhere. Absolutely no. Right? You have to start writing answers, start writing essays, start giving each and every test that we give you. We are giving you every day, every week with evaluation. Right? So don't, the mind, it finds excuses. We are extremely good at finding the excuses. The moment an excuse comes to your mind, you should be smart enough to know that it is an excuse. Right? Right? You can differentiate between you and your mind. Right? You is you only. There are no duality here. Right? But differentiate. You stand there, and in some movies you see those scenes, right? Individuals standing there and assessing their own decisions. Like that. So the moment you are finding excuse, the excuse can be what? I'll finish this first and I'll start that later. Procrastination. And then I will read. I will understand. I will learn. And then I will start. By the time, the dinner is over and, you're sleepy, tomorrow I will do. Right? No, I will meet my mentor. First I will ask how to start. And then I will start. First I will learn from intelligent people. Then I will start. So like this, various excuses. These are all excuses. No excuse. All of you are rich enough to afford pen and what? Papers, notebook, right? That's all is needed, and your mind. Whatever comes to you, you have to write. That is the beginning. The one who takes this very seriously and starts doing this, you will see tremendous progress. And if your next level is, you have to be consistent with that. So you try today, don't get discouraged if you cannot write something sensible. Start tomorrow again, day after tomorrow. Consistency. And you might have seen videos and you would have heard about it. The law of consistency is the ultimate reason for the success. Right? Doesn't matter how many times you fall down, how many hours you give, how many less hours or how many more hours. But every day if you stay consistent here. Right? So consistency in what? Not just being in the race and attending the classes and reading. Consistency in what it takes to reach the target of 900 marks. Practice. Right? And solving prelims questions to be above the cutoff marks. So those two components, ultimately they decide your success. So take it so seriously and don't start comparing with your background, where you come from, the medium and everything. They are also excuses. Right? If you are poor in English, you can learn very good English in next 2 to 3 months. It's possible. So my 6-year-old kid learnt English in 2 months. Right? Now he reads, if I give him the Hindu paper, he reads the Hindu paper. Reads, doesn't understand. Right? He doesn't know what is written there. He reads. Even the complex words. They have taught him. There's something called phonics. Right? They have taught him how to break down complex word and read even the complex word. Right? But he can look into dictionary and he can learn also if he wants. We are not forcing that. We are not forcing him to read the Hindu also. I am just telling you, it is not about my son. It's also about most of the people who can afford to go to good schools anywhere in India, in whichever city, in whichever village. Right? So the idea is that if 6-year-old brain can learn in 1 or 2 months, you can learn even more faster. The brain is flexible. There is something called neuroplasticity. Right? Don't believe that theory that your brain has stopped growing and your capacity has to learn more has stopped. No. You can learn. All it requires is attempting. Out of here, many people wouldn't have tried. So buy a dictionary, English to English, English to Kannada. Right? Read paper for 1 hour every day or 2 hours. My suggestion is that minimum 2 hours you should spend in the newspaper, especially editorial section and any news related to policies and legislations. right? Socio-economic issues every day. Minimum 2 hours you have to spend. So those who think that they cannot write, those who think that they don't have good English, start taking English newspapers very seriously, right? Even if it comes at the cost of our classes sometimes, that is still worth it. Because without language proficiency, without understanding language comprehension, right, without understanding concepts written in English, everything that you are going to do is superficial, it is useless, right? You have to be strong in the language, right? So priority is important. The basic building blocks are extremely important. Basic concepts, the language. So give priority there. So what people do is that, sir, I have 2 classes, 3 classes every day, I don't have time to read newspapers, right? If you are not reading newspaper, you are short of 600 to 800 marks in mains. You cannot write essay, right? You cannot solve ethics case studies. Paper 2 and 3, 80% purely dynamic current affairs, right? So you are totally behind, in these papers. And there is compulsory English paper, and then you have to communicate in English in the interview. You can give interview in Kannada, Telugu, Hindi also. So my suggestion is give it in English. So develop that skill. Everyone can do it. Everyone sitting here can actually do it and achieve it. All it takes is efforts. You just have to start. If I am standing and talking in English with you people, it is not that I went to, like my son, I went to English school. No. Many of you are like that. You started with Kannada medium till 10th Kannada, and then after that you pursued science, and then you went to graduation. Even during graduation we don't speak in Kannada. Even if you are studying it in English medium, we don't speak in English. Even if you are studying in English medium, right? So eventually we came here, we learned, and we started speaking in English. So you can also do it. Most of the people, auto drivers, learn English very fast in Bangalore. You know that. Cab drivers. It's all having an open mind, lack of fear, because it has utility. The language has utility. Knowing is good for their business. And your business is what? And should you be afraid of that? No, right? So you are here to crack the examination and crack India's problems also. Right? So don't be afraid of anything. Always be pumped up. Always be curious. Learn as if there is no end. So now, how to go about it? So here, because you joined in the November batch, we are forced to conduct minimum 2 classes, sometimes 3 classes, right? Because we still think that this batch is for 2025 examination. So May is the month we wish to complete minimum 75 to 80% of the syllabus, right? So that means you have to sit in the classroom minimum 6 hours, sometimes 9 hours also, right? So that will leave you 15 hours more in a day, right? As part of the 24-hour cycle. So if you are sleeping 7 hours or 8 hours, right, you are still left with minimum 7 hours extra, right? So 7 hours plus 6 to 9 hours in the class, and I know those 7 hours will, if you are traveling, if you are doing this and that, so 2 to 3 hours is gone. So at least, even in the worst case, you are left with the 4 hours. For what? Self-study. Everything is self-study. Everything. Even though we are teaching in the class, it is you who has to go back and how fast you understand, how well you understand, how well you start applying the knowledge. So 9 plus 4 hours, 13 is a 12 to 14 hour routine that you are about to follow from tomorrow onwards, right? So in the remaining time, my suggestion is that for now don't focus on the optional, right? Optional you can go in the month of February or March, or even in the month of June, July, August also. 3 to 4 months faculties complete the optional, where whichever institution maximum 5 months or sometimes 6 months, but 4 to 6 months is the maximum time, right? By next year December you are going to complete optional. So if you complete syllabus by June of all the GS, so you are left with 14 hours totally for what? Self study plus optional, right? Don't be worried about it, that optional because everyone is doing, the previous batches are doing, right? Don't follow the herd mentality. Be clear, have the clarity. So what is fundamentally required right now is that laying a strong foundation for the examination. So that is what we are going to teach in the class, the foundation course. All the subjects will be taught with well qualified, more than well qualified, highly motivated, highly intelligent, curious teachers who really teach well all the subjects. And our teaching is something, starts with the basics. Every class we discuss previous year questions. Every class we motivate, we ask you, sometimes we force you to write answers, solve MCQs, and we also teach the applied part, right? The advanced, from the mains and prelims perspective. It's not just teaching basics. Every class is designed in such way, and we encourage you to go back and write answers on whatever is taught in the class. So that is why we have mentorship program. So in the mentors, when everyone will be allotted mentors. So the mentors are somebody who has written multiple mains, given multiple interviews. There are one or two, and again we will be adding 2 more who are in IPS, who are in Indian Forest Service and in Indian Revenue Service. So they will also be your mentors. So you can go to them because they have already gained the experience, they have cracked the examination. So you can go and show your answers and get the basic guidance. The teachers will give the, the advanced or real whatever, and I am also there when it comes to essay, ethics answers, sometimes GS answers, overall strategy, right? What to decide, what to do, how to face the pitfall, how to bounce back, how to strategize, how to prioritize things. You can come with any kind of issue, right? So we are available. So after the class, reading newspaper is something non-negotiable. Minimum 1 hour you spend time reading newspapers, right? Maybe you can do it in the evening or in the morning, right? The Hindu is a must, right? Start reading. So no excuse. I mean, if you're, it's okay 1 or 2 days here and there, you can leave it out, but it should become a habit. Reading newspaper should become habit. Habit is what? Habit is something that you do involuntarily, out of keen interest, right? Out of curiosity. So some people, if there is no newspaper, it feels like the day is incomplete. So parents who read, like for us also, when we read Prajavani, when we open the door in the morning, if there is no Prajavani, right? So we feel like, so we call the, what do you call him? The one who puts paper, right? So we call them, we tell them, urgently bring the paper. So Prajavani, the Hindu, even now comes to my home, even long after the preparation, we keep reading that. Similar interest you should develop with respect to one English newspaper. Read Kannada newspaper or whichever language you come from, right? That is also advisable, is good actually, right? So that is important, and within that some people will have doubt what is important, how to filter the news. So for that, regular checking of previous year question papers. Secondly, understanding the syllabus, right? So if you visit our website, there is something called as Instapedia. Have you visited our website? So if you search insights, our insights on india.com will open. There is something called Instapedia. there is content on each and every topic, but most importantly, we have divided syllabus into hundreds of micro topics. So art and culture from ancient to modern times, right? So that is what it says. Geography of India and the world. So what are you going to study under these large headings, right? So all these, each and every important topic is listed down. So write them down in a notebook, keep looking at them. So any topic that you come across related to previous year questions and that is there in the micro syllabus is important for your preparation in that day newspaper. So you should not miss it. So another question, should I merely read or make notes out of it? Right. My personal suggestion is you should make notes out of it. Whatever, however you want. In the beginning you just start. Right. In the beginning you start with descriptive notes making. You literally reproduce what is there in the paper. So it will take 2 hours, 3 hours. Don't do that. Right. In any news component, see when you open the front page, right, it is news report. Right. The editorial, Sampadakiya we call, right. The editorial, which is also called as opinion part. So it is the opinion section in the newspaper where the editorial board of the newspaper has put 2 opinions. One, if you see left side, the Hindu, there are 2 parts, right? So that is the opinion of the editorial. So and then they make 3-4 people write columns. Sometimes there is a debate also, pro and against. So it is the opinion of the experts, opinion of regular columnists, right? So they write their opinion, they analyze these issues, right? So this part, which is there in the editorial section, will have 3 components, broadly 3 components. One is, let us say you are reading editorial on American election right now. One will be factual component. So they will write about, which state is a swing state, which state is very important for, Trump or Kamala Harris to gain an upper hand, right? The states, the number of electoral numbers and other things, right? Facts. It can be number, it can be event, it can be place, it can be name of an individual, it can be name of an agreement, right? It is fact. Second one, concepts. Sometimes they introduce new concepts or the concept which you have learned. They will be appearing in the newspapers, right? Concepts can be related to polity, economy, geography, depending on the optional that they are writing. So facts, concepts. Third, the most important part is that opinion, right, or ideas or arguments. So based on their understanding, their research, their expertise, they will be taking a stance and they will be making arguments, whether it is good or bad, right? What is going to be its consequence, something like that. They are going to give their opinion. So facts, concepts and the opinion. So when you make notes, you have to just write the summary part. What are the facts that you are learning? What are the concepts? And what is the idea that the author is trying to communicate? It's not mere communication. It is basically to create an informed opinion, in the minds of the people who are reading. So it can be sometimes biased, it can be unbiased also. So you should be able to judge it. So those things you have to note down. And you should develop that ability to discern. Discerning means differentiating. What is opinion, what is fact, what is a new concept, right? So you have to segregate and you have to note them down. So start doing this. This is very important because in your mains answers, these 3 components must be there. When you write mains answers, when you write essays, these 3 concepts must be there. You should not write merely facts in your answer, only examples. Or you should not write merely opinion in your answers, right? They should be conceptual, theoretical background, little bit, right? And then in the body, argument followed with justification. That is the example. It is called substantiation, justification, validation, illustration. Right, whatever idea, whatever argument you make should be substantiated. So that is what the fact or example will do. right? So if you observe how it is conveyed, how it is, argued in newspapers, subconsciously you will develop the similar thinking, right? And when you start doing answer writing regularly, you will develop original thinking, right? It is the major issue in the world. People read, but people don't write. The one who reads and writes simultaneously, I can assure you, it's a journey of maximum 2 attempts from day one, reading and writing. So you read paper for 1 hour, make little notes, and then visit our website again. There is something called Secure Initiative, Insights Secure. So this initiative has been there for last 11 years consistently, every day except Sundays. We give daily 6 to 8 questions picked from that day's editorials, right? Let us say you read American editorial. So we might link it with American history, which is part of the world history, right? And ask about, what is happening, linking present situation, and then put it in the GS1 section, right? So if you have read that editorial, you can click link of that question, Insights Secure. So you can write anything that comes to your mind based on your understanding. In the comments, you can post your answer. There are so many people who write every day. So many toppers, who never visited insightsias have visited that initiative regularly and have become toppers, right? The famous example is Srushti Deshmukh. Srushti Deshmukh was the regular contributor of answer writing in the Secure Initiative. Almost every day she used to write. She used to review others' answers. Her answers were also getting reviewed. So she attributed her very high, extremely good GS scores to the Secure Initiative. So here you can post there and it is reviewed by us, and also you can bring that notebook to mentors also, right? It's a very difficult exercise, but so we are talking from the perspective of the numbers we discussed, right? 900, 850. To achieve there, this is the way forward, right? Secondly, 2 hours you should compulsorily invest on what you have learnt that day by revising the notebook where you have written all the things, plus reading the NCERT textbooks. Basics first, right? So compulsory reading of NCERT, not 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4, 5 time is important. So visit that book multiple times. I have seen people, they read NCERT 1 time in the beginning of their preparation and then they totally abandon them, they forget them. They are the treasure trove of, right, very relevant concepts, right? And the concepts are beautifully explained, not only explained, how to apply those concepts, right? So it is very well written there. So if you keep reading NCERT, right, so your basics will always remain strong, right? So you may achieve advanced knowledge going forward, but for those people whose foundation, the basic knowledge is strong, right? So they are the ones who crack prelims easily, and they are the ones who score highest marks in the mains answer writing also. So this is, I don't know how to put it. There can be a phrase about this. Going forward, people forget basics or ignore basics, but they achieve advanced knowledge, right? If I ask, like in mock interview, I ask a very, very simple question, like, can you define art? Right? So their hobby will be music, guitar, dancing, painting, this and that. They've been doing for 10, 15 years. I ask, define art. They wouldn't have thought about it. They know what is art, right? Now, can you tell me what is art? Can anybody define it? What is art? And so many people, and when they have come to interview, that means they have mastered art and culture. That is there in the syllabus, right? Prelims, mains, and then they would have come at the interview. What is art?
Painting the
Someone?
someone has put their perception on something like if it is in painting then it is art it known as art if someone put their
That's what. Like, of course, you are putting it. Someone has put their perception in the form of painting. You are using the word put perception.
that
Correct. They have created something new.
something that is new for someone.
Correct. Yeah. So that is, you know what is art? In your own words, you explained it. Can somebody explain it, define it even in more standard format? What you have said is absolutely right. There is nothing wrong in that. But there is a better way of putting it. Right?
Another form of communication.
Another form of communication. Okay. Yes, art is also a form of communication. But you are telling what it is. You are not defining what is art. Anyone? Those English literature. What is art? Literature is also art, right? It's a form of expression. No, I'm talking all the time. So I'm expressing, right? Do you call this art? What kind of expression? Verbal? Okay. No, you're talking about me. No. What kind of? You will say artistic expression, but what is artistic expression?
That
You can consider it as art which gives a specific message or specific expression.
It's a creative expression of your imagination. Right? It's a creative expression of your imagination in the form of, it can be anything. There are the different forms of art. You can dance, you can, give expression to your imagination. Right? You can write and you can give expression to, this is creative. What you said is right, but there is creativity based on the imagination. We imagine, but sometimes we cannot express. So we are not artists, right? So those who have mastered it, those who have trained in that regard, so they go on. So the idea is not like we don't want to discuss art. The idea was what? It comes at the expense of the basics. So the basics, if they are strong, right? You can, you can impress anyone in your answers, in your interview. And what happens? In anything you say, you will have clarity. When the basics are strong, you will have confidence in what you are writing. You will have confidence in what you are trying to communicate. Because, you are building everything based on the foundation, the basics. So, keep reading basics again and again and again until they become obvious. You got the point? Keep mastering concepts until they become obvious. Like you don't have to struggle. They are there. Right? You don't have to struggle to recall a concept, define a concept. Right? So it is there with you all the time. So that is the level of competency that you have to achieve going forward in this examination preparation. It takes lots of effort. It is not easy at all. Anybody, even sometimes I have also told in the past, it's an easy exam, read newspapers, NCERT, you are done. It's not like that. What to be done looks easy, right? What needs to be done. But what is to be done is really difficult. It requires sustained, regular hard work. You have to go to the depths of it, master them, keep digging. It's not about, I'm not asking you to do research. There is a framework for everything. As long as you understand syllabus, previous year questions, you will not deviate. You will not divulge. You will not, get diverted beyond what is required to crack this examination. So that is the first thing you have to do today. Master the syllabus. Go. In earlier, orientation, I used to make people write syllabus in the class. Right. So I used to give questions on the syllabus. Would ask, so exact words. that are there, as part of the environment or science and technology in paper 3. So what is it, expected out of you in the interview? There are like 3 paragraphs in the notification, right? What they are going to do in the interview, what is expected from you in the interview. Regarding essay, there are 2 paragraphs in the notification, right? What you have to write, how much you have to write, what is expected. Nobody looks at them. So download the notification, right? The previous, this year prelims, that is same, right? Irrespective of which year notification you are downloading. So carefully read each and every word. Stick to them, right? So if you understand those words, those paragraphs, you are understanding the exact demand of the examination, right? It is clearly mentioning what is expected from you. So if you align, if you orient towards those expectations, you are always in the right direction, right? So remaining 1 or 2 hours, right? What are you going to do? So some amount of prelims practice, right? CSAT. CSAT is something, don't wait for the classes. Don't wait for the classes for teacher to come and teach you. CSAT, pick up the previous year question papers, at least do the comprehension part. Keep doing comprehension part every day. That doesn't require any teacher. The comprehension part. Am I right? Does it require any teacher to come and teach you the comprehension part of the CSAT paper? Right. So you have to figure it out eventually. There are teachers who can teach. We will also teach. But I think it is based on your common sense, based on your language, as we kept talking about competency, that will improve. So read comprehension and solve those questions every day. Right? Become good at it. So slowly move to the maths problems, the very basics of maths problems. So previous year question papers, and there are like unlimited resources, unlimited people who teach CSAT and YouTube, Telegram channel. So you can learn, how to solve those problems. So if you master CSAT, right, by yourself and through the classes, you are, the highest chances that you are going to crack this exam in 1 attempt. I see people misprioritizing CSAT, ignoring it, because they think I'm from engineering background, I'm from computer science background, right? I've done major in like good with English, so I can solve only passages and crack this examination. So these are all excuses. Again, don't be overconfident, right? Do it every day. Try to do a few questions, 4-5 questions. So that will, before sleep, that will, kind of make you alert, refresh your mind, reboot you, and then at the same time you are improving your skills also. This is very important. So repeat this cycle. Current affairs should not be forgotten. Class notes, reading from textbooks, and if you have extra time, whatever questions that are given at the end of the NCERT chapters, right, solve them. So many people ask, from where do I start answer writing? I tell, pick those NCERT questions. So some questions require you to write 30 to 40 words. There are questions which require you to write 100 to 150 words, especially 11th and 12th textbooks. So those questions, and you will be surprised, some of those questions have actually repeated in the exam. You will discover as you read NCERTs, right? So the questions back of NCERT textbooks are also important. So keep thinking about them, because after reading a chapter, these questions are applied in nature, not directly picked. So similar thing you have to do in the UPSC also. See, this UPSC exam, why we call unpredictable, what we call unpredictable, we used to tell like unpredictable public service commission, right? Uncertain public service commission. It's not about unpredictability, uncertainty. That is the precise expectation, right? What they're expecting is that how you respond to an uncertain situation, right? You don't expect flood to happen Wayanad, and you're always prepared. Yeah, I'm ready. Like, it is happening. Even if you're prepared, you may not be knowing the magnitude of it. You have to respond as a DC, as a SP, right? Officer in various departments. So at a very micro level, at a very small level, this examination keeps testing you how you respond to uncertainty, either in the form of unexpected nature of the questions, right? Unexpected form of the question, sometimes topics. You have read something, it has appeared from another dimension, another perspective in the examination. So that is totally unexpected. Same thing will happen in all our tests, right? Eventually in the exam also it happens. When you go to interview, you are literally clueless about the kind of questions they are going to ask you. Right? You might have put all the big hobbies and all, but there is no guarantee that they are going to ask questions on them. It is open field. They can ask anything they want. In prelims, at least you can expect something. In mains, you can expect something. There can be a question on land reforms. There can be a question on technology in agriculture. Right? There can be a question on minimum support price. There can be a question on secularism. Something you can expect at least. So when you go to interview, you are literally clueless. We don't know what is going to be the first question. Right? And how that question is going to lead the rest of the interview. Right? So you have to, eventually you are going to be in that position, right? After 2 years, after 3 years, after 4 years. But when you go there, right, you should have faced such kind of situation, such kind of uncertainty thousands of times. Then only you will stay unperturbed. What is unperturbed? Very strong, right? You will sit very calm. You will be relaxed because you have faced that situation. You are not afraid of the uncertainty. So most of the competition is eliminated in prelims because people fail to cope up with the uncertainty. They become nervous, right? So you would have attempted 90 questions out of 100 in most of the mock tests. You would have done well. There the question paper is so tough, you don't know anything beyond 60 or 70 questions. Now, very difficult to adapt. So all the time I have attempted 90 questions and scored 100 plus in mocks. Now suddenly, you don't know what is going to be the cutoff. And you are thinking from only your perspective. You forget there are 10 lakh people applied, 5 lakh people writing the examination, right? So that awareness, right? That intelligence, that common sense is very much required. So all these you have to develop, and you can develop only when you have open mind. You constantly keep learning and constantly keep practicing, constantly keep giving all the tests. So eventually these will prepare you for that moment, right? So it is very easy to finish orientation by saying that you have come to Insights, attend the classes, we will prepare you, and then what? You are going to crack the examination by reading only our notes, right? So we are not like that. If you are not going to prepare yourself, right, knowledge is not going to save you. Knowledge has utility only when you are ready for it. Knowledge is useless when you lack common sense, when you lack courage, right? So if you lack this, knowledge is not going to save you, right? The skills that are very important, and fortunately we teach all of them here. We give utmost priority to all these things which I am discussing. See, we conduct extracurricular activities also, right? So recently we conducted Pick and Speak, where we celebrate Kannada Rajyotsava so vibrantly. Nobody does, right? Literally last year nearly 10,000 students and all the people attended. This year 15th we are going to conduct it. So there we make you perform on the stage, right? And regularly the essay writing and other things, we conduct chess competition. So we encourage you to speak in the class also. And we, in our institution, including me, everyone, we never discourage any single soul. For anything wrong they do, anything wrong they say, anything stupid they do. Right? I believe that it is all part of the learning curve. We make mistakes and then we evolve from it. So we don't insult anyone, we don't ridicule anyone. You are free to ask any type of question. You can free to contribute any kind of answer that comes to your mind. Right? So you have to be courageous. Don't worry about what others think. So the moment you start worrying about what others are thinking, you have already crossed 80% of the success rate. I mean the competition. Right? You have to insulate, you have to become immune to what others are thinking about you. Nobody is thinking about you. Nobody worries about you. In the moment they might, right, laugh or something, then they forget. They have so much to do. So don't be conscious. Don't be conscious about, the surrounding. Keep looking inward, how I can develop, how I can make use of this situation, how I can contribute, how I can improve. So then only the real growth and progress is possible. So don't be afraid of committing mistakes. Do it. Right? So I have told so many things in this class which are of utmost importance. Only if you do them regularly, right, you are going to become what you were dreaming about. IAS, IPS, right? If you are not doing them, you are merely wasting your time. So I have a fear, if you are not writing, you are not in the competition. If you are not writing, not notes. If you are not writing, you are not in the competition. You are after 1 year, 2 year. See, people go to Delhi, they spend minimum 2.5 lakh in coaching fees. Right? And then they spend at least 4 to 5 lakh rupees food and accommodation if they are staying for 2 years. Minimum cost of living is 25,000 there. Right? So in a year 2.5 to 3 lakh minimum plus coaching fees 2.5. If you are staying for 2 years, it is somewhere around 10 lakh. You are spending there. And you can test what I am trying to say. If somebody comes after 2-year coaching from Delhi back to, I am talking about foundation course. You ask them how many essays they have written. You ask them how many answers they would have written. They will tell majority 0 essays. 1 or 2, no one then. Answers, few teachers encouraged. Otherwise, we haven't written. Right? So, they spend nearly 10 lakh and they don't write essays, they don't give mock tests, they don't solve any question papers, they don't write any answer, and they think they are preparing for the UPSC examination. Total waste of money, time, effort. Right? Integrated preparation is the only way forward. If wherever you are taking coaching, here it's a part of the culture. Insights, we have a writing culture, we have mentoring culture. Those who make use of these two, you are going to crack. But everyone doesn't do this. That is our observation. I keep emphasizing about this, we keep telling about it. Mentors, message, come show your answers. Come. So around 10 to 12 people keep coming regularly. Out of 100, 200 students, some 10 students keep going regularly. Others, you are wasting parents' money, everything. Right? Your own time. You are making yourself unemployable. Right? If you are not doing these things. So take this suggestion extremely seriously, because when I see all the faces here, so there are almost everyone is very young here. 20, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Right? So this examination is a vicious cycle. Vicious cycle? What is vicious cycle? Something poisonous. This entire examination cycle is poison. Right? Don't waste your precious life years getting stuck here. You have a perfect chance of cracking this examination and moving out. This examination or state examinations. So I believe if you follow program judiciously, if you write every day, if you solve question papers every week, every day, you can crack any government examination within next 3 years. Right? If you do all of them. If you're not doing that, the 3 years are wasted, and after that add another 2 to 3 extra years. So from age 21, 22, 23 to next 6 years, you will not know that. You will be 28, 29, 30. Right? In next few years. And after that it becomes difficult to what? Get a job or get employed, get married, boys. Right? So that is why. And also, what is hard work? How do you define hard work? What is hard work? Can anybody define me what is hard work? The efforts which you should put forward to achieve success. Okay. That effort, what kind of effort defines what is hard work? Doing work consistently. Like what kind of work? Any steps taken to become better day by day. Okay. Let us say that you want to win Olympic gold medal in 100-meter race. Olympics gold medal in 100-meter race. You have to work hard for it. So how do you define word hard work from that perspective? Practice. What kind of practice? Like if you want to become another Usain Bolt, right? What is the kind of practice you have to do? Do you have any imagination about it? All the time out of your comfort zone. Strict diet. Every day. So many hours in the gym, in the field, running, training. Right? Strict discipline you have to maintain. Right? So recently, Novak Djokovic is the highest. He is the one who has won highest number of Grand Slams in tennis. Right? So he has beat Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, all the greats in the tennis. So it's greatest going by the number of Grand Slams he has. So I read one of his interview or something. So where he says that from 4 to 6 years he hadn't tasted any sweet chocolate. Right? So after winning one of the Grand Slams, he just tasted this much and it felt like heaven, and then again he stopped. Continued, his routine, practice and everything. So that was the level of self-control, discipline. So hard work from that perspective. Let us say that you want to climb the 9 tallest mountains in the world. Right? There is Mount K2, there is Mount Everest. Right? And there are other mountains in the Alps and North America, South America. Right? In all the continent, highest mountains. So what is the kind of effort? Same, the physical endurance. Right? At highest altitude, you have to be very strong. Right? You have to, it has a different discipline. Right? To follow. So, here, to crack the UPSC examination, what you have to do? No, what is the kind of practice that you have to do? So, is writing practice and reading, is more difficult, or what Usain Bolt or any athlete for that matter? Or somebody who wants to climb, all the mountains in the world. Which is more tough? I'm just, see, morning to, let us say you start your day at 6 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock in the night, you are preparing, doing hard work for this examination. So you are sitting in your room, sitting in a AC classroom or AC reading room, right? And then what? You are reading your polity, economy, geography, right? Making notes, reading newspaper, making notes, and then writing answers. You go for a tea break, coffee break, lunch break, breakfast, come back, read, write, right? And then what? You may go for walking if you want a change, right? Half an hour exercise. So basically, even if you say you are doing hard work from this perspective, it is still not hard work from my perspective. You are staying in your comfort zone all the time. You are trying to achieve something so big, right? You are trying to achieve something so big. What you are about to do, what you want to do, is literally nothing. You are going to be made an IAS, IPS officer. There are around 5,000 IAS officers, around 5,000 IPS officers, few hundred are foreign service officers running the country of 142 crore people, 1.4 billion. So if you divide 142 ಕೋಟಿ 142 crore divided by 5,000. For one IAS officer, you calculate how many people it comes to, right? So I don't know like how much it comes. It may be like 20-30 lakh, right? So the responsibility is not looking after them. It is not like you are a shepherd and you have to look after them. You are going to give the responsibility of what? Maintaining law and order, bringing development, right? Reaching to the last individual. So have imagination of what is the biggest role, the role, what it kind of role that is going to be given to you, and the privileges, the perks, facilities that also come with that kind of job, and what you are actually going to do. No, nothing. So never complain that you are working hard. Never complain that you have written so much. Never ever come and say that it is stressing you or something. If at all this exam is more difficult, it's because you are not mentally tough to handle. The competition is imaginary. That is, it doesn't exist. It exists only in your mind. Everyone comes, they give exam and they go, right? So don't imagine. Everyone is on their own. They are doing something. So the competition, you might have heard so many times in all our motivational videos, within oneself. So the competition is between the version of you who is today and the version of you tomorrow. The better one you want to become, right? So that is the competition all the time. So you have to become better than who you are today, right? So to become better at a very good level, you should understand what is the competition, but not worry about the competition, because you have to arrive at that competency, the top bracket, right? So once you understand, forget about the competition, keep. So if you bring an answer to us, we will tell you out of 10 marks, how to score 6 marks, right? That is the highest something one can achieve. If you bring essay to me, I will tell you how to achieve 75. Right. So if you get 70 from me for one essay, you are 100% there in that top bracket. I gave you 130, 135, right? The target. If you get 70 from me for any of your essay, you are at the 130 plus level. That is sure shot. There is no doubt about it. You should not doubt about it. Similarly, in our tests, if you start scoring the weekly test, for every question 5, 5.5, 6 marks, you have arrived that level of competency. But you won't achieve that very soon. It requires regular practice, right? So till you achieve that, right? Don't look at the number of hours. Somebody can work hard for 6 hours, 8 hours and achieve that. For somebody it may require 12, 14, 16, 18 hours also. Depending on your shortcomings, your own understanding, give number of hours. There is no fixed number of hours for this examination, right? So depending on your own assessment of your own limitations, so go on giving more number of hours for that. So don't be afraid to work even for 14 to 16 hours. At the same time, if you are very smart, that you will know from your college days and all. 6-8 hours is also fine. The entire day I'm talking about, right? So this examination, is difficult from the perspective of staying consistent, staying mentally tough all the time. Otherwise, all the hard work you are doing is not actually hard work. You are constantly empowering yourself, you are constantly improving your knowledge, learning new things, right? You are adding to your own personality. It's a journey with a better transformation. So don't complain about hard work, right? Ready to give everything. That is what I mentioned in the beginning, right? So optional I have discussed about, and so in this class we don't give the minor things, how to make notes and all, because there are separate classes for that, and every class, every subject, the teacher will give you the resources, book names, and how to decipher syllabus, what are the things to remember, read, how they are going to teach. Every single subject, there is going to be a separate initial introduction. And all the time you are available whenever you have any doubt, right? So if you have any questions, you can ask. So how many of you are from Bangalore? Okay. How many of you are from any non-Karnatakas here? Not from Karnataka. Good. So all others are from outside Bangalore. Engineers, how many are there? Okay. Agriculture students? No. BSc? Okay. BA? Any MBBS? BAMS, BNYS? So, commerce? Good. So don't go with commerce and accountancy. Even if you have done MCOM, that is also difficult. Mathematics, strict no. Some people think, they have done BSc mathematics, MSc mathematics, and they want to take mathematics. So don't go with mathematics. And also we have started something called open house session every Sunday. So 2 of our faculties will come every Sunday. That's open house means any doubts with respect to examination. So you can come and ask how to start answer writing, how to start essay writing, any doubts you have, right? So every Sunday we will have them. So you may not be comfortable asking them in classes in your respective subject. So on Sunday when we conduct open session, you can come and discuss them. And also on our YouTube we have started something called Daily Decode and I Can initiative. These are related to current affairs. Half an hour initiative. You can watch them, but only after reading newspaper, right? Only after reading newspaper. So don't substitute them for newspaper and current affairs, right? After you do your part, then watch those videos. So Daily Decode and I Can. So they are related to current affair news analysis, right? Any doubts? No doubts? ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್? Did I scare you? I've been honest with you. I have told the truth, right? Not at all easy this exam. Very, 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 very difficult when it comes to mind. The one who is mentally tough is the most suited, to crack this exam. If you think that you are not mentally tough, become mentally tough. How? Detachment. Don't worry about your mother and father and your village and your relatives, all our problems. Detachment, right? Attachment is the root cause of what? Suffering, right? Desire is the root cause of suffering. Desire is nothing but attachment. So detach. Don't worry about what is happening back home. I know so many problems are there. Health problems, economic problems, social issues will be there. Second, worry only about what you can control right now. Can you sit here and solve the problem back there? Can you sit here solve the Pakistan problem? Can you sit here and solve the American problem? Don't worry about them. Read issues. There also practice detachment. Don't get attached to the issues. Don't become Bhagat Singh, here. Don't feel like, putting bomb in. Control your emotions. Detach. Read issues. Academic interest. Be very intellectual interest, like, read, understand. But don't get agitated. Right? You read corruption and then you feel like, giving up the competition, giving up the exam. You get so worried. There is corruption. Why should I prepare? No, don't worry about it. Right? Corruption was there 5,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 100 years ago. It is going to increase even more in the future. It's not going to go away. Various forms of corruption. Right? It is going to be there. It's part of the human life. There is no perfect equality. There is no perfect society. It is impossible to achieve. You watch Big Boss, right? Big Boss. Even when 10-15 individuals are put, there are so many differences. You see inequality. You see psychology of different people. There are billions of people. The issues are always going to be there. Crimes are always going to be there. Right? So we have to minimize them. We have to reduce them. Right? Of course, we should seek to eliminate them when we have that power. But if we cannot control anything right now, right, don't worry about them. So third, to be mentally tough. Another thing you should do really regularly do is that never imagine the competition. You are your own competitor. Always constantly think about this. Right? The moment you see her writing better essay, better answer, compare, then you will feel demotivated. She is writing good essay. Right? Challenge yourself. In another 1 month, I will write better essay than what she is writing. So work towards that. So that is the right approach. Rather than, getting worried and, confused. So I see many people comparing. Never compare, never worry about, never look at the competition, right? So doing these things, slowly you will develop mental toughness. And also don't be afraid of losing anything, right? Don't be afraid of losing anything. You have never, we don't come, with all the things with us. You know the eternal truth, right? Everything is temporary. All this fame, glory, everything is going to vanish, right? Few days ago, one regular columnist, and I think he was economist also, to Indian Express. His name is Bibek Debroy. So he died recently. So I think day before yesterday he died. Before his death, 4 days before his death, he sent an article. He was a regular columnist to Indian Express. He sent that article to Indian Express. So there, he was operated and he was laying on bed, and he has written there is some detachment also, there is some emotion also in the article if you read. So his children are in some other continent. He knew that they are not going to come, and he would not go to them also. Some visitors come, crocodile tears or some words. They will go. After, his death, 3-4 days, everyone will forget, everyone will move on. And he has done tremendous work. He is a Padma awardee. So nobody will remember what is the kind of work he has done. Eventually, everyone will forget. Right? So he has written something like that. I was just reading about it. Right? Doesn't matter how big your success or how small is your success. Everyone is going to forget everything. Everyone is going to move on. And everything is temporary. Right? As long as you are here, live in the moment. Right? Every day, make it productive, beautiful, tension-free, stress-free. Just go with the flow. Constantly keep improving. So when you improve yourself, opportunities come to you. That is the secret of the society. When you improve yourself, opportunities come to you. Right? So there is famous Instagram quote. So be the garden where butterflies come. Right? Don't try to be a butterfly chasing, something. So you be the garden, like, you develop all the qualities. Good knowledge, good attitude, goodness, good values, wisdom, skills. So they come searching for you, right? So that should be our only focus every day. That itself will make you better individual. People will like you, people will appreciate you, the society will appreciate you, right? So wish you all the best. Thank you. So even after telling everything, if you don't start writing from tomorrow onwards, you are not at all humans. Robots. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ನಾವು ಬರೋದು 2 ಗಂಟೆ ಏನೋ ಕೊರೆಯೋದು, ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂತೀರಿ, and then you go back to your old self. But we keep telling this, our duty, we keep doing our duty, right? ನೀವು ಮನುಷ್ಯರೇ ಅಲ್ಲ. If you don't, what is the point of everything? ನಾವು ಹೇಳೋದು ಬಿಡೋದು, forget about it, leave it aside. Why are you here? If I am sitting in your position today, right, as an individual, as a myself, as a Vinay Kumar, if I am sitting in your position today, if somebody would come and tell me all these things, whatever I told you, in one attempt I would get All India first rank. I would get. Nobody would have given such clarity, guidance, facilities, everything, when we were preparing. So I believed, even if I had the potential, even if I didn't have the potential, I always believe that I can attain that potential. Right? So think hard on this, right? Thank you. So we will put you in the Telegram group, and then we will inform you which class, when, where, which building, everything. So don't worry about it. Okay? Thank you.